I'm also going to record this and upload to the channel. Yes, that is the smart thing. What are you doing? Why the fuck there's only 5 dislikes? It is time for a touch battle. I got an email. What is it about? Oh, it's Taboo. Shut the fuck up. I am very tired today. Oh boy. It is time! Jesus Christ, I cannot stop yawning! Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shigaraki versus Mahito.
The symbol of fear versus the human disaster curse.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Tenko Shimura was just a sweet, shy boy who loved superheroes.
But sometimes the hand of fate can't abide sweet shy boys.
Ruthlessly beaten and abused by his hero-hating father, Tenko pushed beyond his emotional limits until he activated his inherent
Wow, he's the same age as me.
Or
and he's only
quirk.
1
It
inch
wasn't something
taller
cool
than
like
me.
flight or super strength. In his terror, he accidentally killed his whole family. Well, except for dear old dad. That one was intentional.
Tenko wandered the streets alone, silently begging for someone, anyone, to help him. If only a hero was there to save him. But instead, the only open hand he found belonged to the devil.
All for one. The greatest supervillain in history.
He took Tenko under his wing, feeding a hatred of everyone and everything, and grooming him to one day lead his league of villains in destroying hero society.
With that came a new name, Tomura Shigaraki, and an absolutely nightmarish quirk, Decay. It does what it says on the tin. Anything Shiggy touches with all 5 fingers turns
Okay, yeah,
to
the model
dust.
does work.
The
I
perfect
was just
power
making
for
sure.
someone who just wants to destroy. Pretty menacing, if not for that dorky-ass costume. I get it, hands are his thing, but come on, they just look so dumb and fake.
Oh, those aren't prosthetics. Those are real hands. From his family.
Hold
that
on,
he
hold
killed,
on, hold on.
Attached to his face, and explicitly commanded to be left there by his mentor so that he would never forget his rage.
Okay.
While his
It's
use
a
of decay
negative.
started off relatively weak, it rapidly increased in power and range as Shigaraki came into his own.
Decay isn't even limited to whatever he's touching. Anything that touches something he's decaying also decays.
Spreading like an all-consuming miasma that can wipe out anything from an enormous tower to an entire city.
If decay reaches you, your only hope is to isolate the body part that is disintegrating before it gets to something vital.
After years of training with the greatest supervillain of all time, Shigaraki was finally put in charge of his own team with one mission. He must kill his master's rival, the #1 hero, All Might.
Only to fall flat on his face.
Shigaraki was a terrible leader, quick-tempered, short-sighted, and, well...
Cringe! Oh, he's just so cringe. He uses gamer lingo unironically. He whines like a baby when things don't go his way. He's the kind of guy who would say normie in real life, in front of normies.
But they say defeat is the greatest nature of all. Only through struggle could Shigaraki manifest his dark conviction.
Right as All Might's new protege, Izuku Midoriya, was coming into his own as well.
These two rivals, the inheritors of their master's blood feud, would push themselves past their own limitations.
Especially when All Might and All for One double KO'd each other, leaving Shigaraki to lead the League of Villains all by himself.
And with the stakes higher than ever before, Shigaraki stepped up. He personally battled the monstrous Gigantomachia for a month and a half straight, and conquered other villain organizations to create the Paranormal Liberation Front. Thousands of new soldiers for his personal army.
All to impress All for One's personal quack, Dr. Ujiko, who spent months upgrading Shigaraki's body to make it more like his sensei's. It might have been constant agony, but Shiggy went from Chud to Chad.
Ujiko's experimentation
Hell yeah,
vastly
he
increased
dropped League.
Shigaraki's strength, speed, and durability, enough to match and surpass even All Might's absurd power.
Sharing All Might's power between them, Deku and Bakugo were able to punch an island-sized hole in a cloud that reached 24 miles into the sky. We've calculated that before to be nearly 80 million megatons of TNT, almost as much as the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs.
And Shigaraki can now move fast enough that his body produces hypersonic shockwaves and can even catch laser beams.
And he's tough enough to survive Star and Stripes' Intercontinental Ballistic Cruise Punch! Now the new name for my penis. Move over, gigantic Omega Storm. Anyway, it also made a blast so big it showed up against the curvature of the Earth.
Though he might seem invincible, when Shigaraki's body is pushed hard enough, he will evolve into a state of uncontrollable power.
So Decay became? Oh shit, more hands!
Shigaraki can spontaneously generate flesh into existence, seemingly oceans of it in an instant, whenever he wants. He can even use it as a type of armor to defend himself in close combat.
But that's nothing compared to Ujiko's greatest gift. Shigaraki wanted to be the new All for One, so what better way than the old man's quirk?
All for One's quirk, All for One, allows its user to steal and store quirks with just a touch.
And All for One has hundreds of them stored up, collected over the years.
Each quirk is connected to a memory of its user's essence in the form of a spirit, a vestige.
Kinda like a piece of their soul. They exist in this kinda psychic world in Shigaraki's body, and can even act as a spiritual defense should it be invaded.
And with those vestiges came quirks like super fast healing, air blast, radio waves, flight, telekinesis, teleportation of others, and the ability to track foes.
He can even combine multiple quirks together, like in this big-ass electric Kamehameha.
However, any vestige stolen or destroyed will also remove that quirk from Shigaraki's repertoire. They're also sentient, and some can even fight for control.
Which is when the second shoe finally dropped. Because Shigaraki also got All for One's vestige, that means All for One was now in possession of a shiny new body that he'd spent the last 15 years molding for him to take over.
Shigaraki's entire existence was planned from the beginning. Why? Because All Might's previous mentor was Nana Shimura, Tanko's grandmother.
Oh, that to mess with All Might. That is some next level hating right there.
He manipulated Shigaraki's entire life, all for one purpose: to create a soul so corrupted it would grind away at All Might's perfect world, allowing All for One to take full control.
But All for One's possession wasn't complete, and Shiggy managed to fight his way back to the top, literally decaying his way through vestiges in the process, all to fight his rival Deku one last time.
Despite Izuku's best efforts to save him, Shigaraki was too far gone. His spirit decayed by years of venomous hatred.
And the new symbol of hope defeated the new symbol of fear, burying All for One's grudge for good.
All that Shigaraki asked was to be remembered as the heartless destroyer he was raised to be, and not the broken, angry, crying little boy he really was deep inside.
For just that one moment, though, Shiggy got in Deku the only thing he'd been denied his whole life, the one thing his lifelong nihilistic tantrum was really all about. He got a hero who tried to save him.
Damn.
This battle is sponsored by Robinhood Gold.
With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement
Who
contributions.
cares?
The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%.
Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high network are now available for any network.
The new
That's
gold
spoilers, no
standard is
spoilers.
here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhood.com/gold.
Investing involves risk. Rate subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match and must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC,
what happened?
member SIPC. Gold membership is
Oh,
offered
it's
by
because I
Robinhood
tapped
Gold
out, wasn't it?
LLC.
Yeah, it's because I tapped out.
Ever since Cain slew his brother Abel and wetted his fields with his blood, man's greatest fear has been his fellow man.
But what if this fear
Shigaraki
took on
wins.
a life of its own?
What if all that negative emotion humans felt
There's
for
no
one
way
another spilled
Mahito's
from
gonna
their
win, but
bodies
let's hear.
and congealed, forming, over time, a living being fueled by malice, which believes in nothing but the law of the jungle.
Well, then you'd have the special grade curse with the patch face, Mahito. Oh, I've had people tell me I've become a human disaster curse when I've had too many mojitos.
Mahito is one of the deadliest beings to ever
Fan
afflict
of J.R.
mankind. He's
Tolkien.
no mere mortal, though, but a cursed spirit. Innumerable spirits exist, weaker or stronger, depending on the
Lives
amount of
in a
anxieties,
society.
jealousies, hatreds, and fears humans feel about them.
Like the fear of locusts, kinda weak. Or the fear of smallpox, getting stronger. Or the fear of fire. Oh, goodbye, Tokyo.
So it follows that mankind's fear of itself would be extremely powerful. Those negative emotions manifest as Mahito, a being composed of cursed energy.
It's basically like evil ki. Cursed energy can be used to make spirits way stronger, faster, and tougher than any normal human. And it's invisible, making curses like Mahito impossible for the untrained eye to see. Only a life or death situation can galvanize a normal person to see a cursed spirit.
That also makes cursed spirits virtually immune to physical damage. They may be physically present in space, but can only be harmed by attacks that embody spirit matter like cursed energy.
Which makes curses insanely hard to get rid of, like ghosts, cockroaches, or my ex. That's why you need a jujutsu sorcerer to come in and kaizen the shit out of them. They call it exorcism, but I like the way I said it better.
Curses and sorcerers have
Certain
battled each other
motherfuckers who
for
call the show
millennia,
sorcery
waging
battle.
an endless war over the fate of humanity. Almost exclusively in Japan, though, for some reason.
But Mahito was special. You see, most curses are basically dumb animals. But Mahito has so much cursed energy that it gave him sentience.
So he was recruited by Kenjaku alongside other special grade disaster curses to wreak havoc upon the world. In fact, they made Mahito their leader.
And even more frightening than intelligence and bloodlust, Mahito possessed philosophy.
Perhaps informed by the tragic meaninglessness of interhuman conflict, Mahito is an existential nihilist, believing in nothing but his own will to power. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and Mahito is the wolf.
Which also makes him kind of a goofball. If nothing
Why does he have
matters,
the
why not
grippers
have
out?
fun with the slaughter? Really get your steps in. He loves to dig around and toy with your emotions like a cartoon character before slitting your throat.
An appropriate analogy, considering his curse technique, idle transfiguration.
Using his cursed energy, Mahito can control anyone's soul with just a touch, including his own. In fact, he's so good at manipulating his own soul that you can't even kill the bastard without directly targeting it.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, the soul
think-
and the
I
body
think the
share
Decay
an
could be
immutable
able to do that.
connection. Whatever happens to the former affects the latter.
This lets Mahito squash, stretch, and shape-shift his body into literally anything he wants. Like Play-Doh, he can turn his limbs into blades or clubs, grow wings like a bird or fins like a fish, reform his body around injuries, or even create clones.
Curse users are naturally unharmed by their own ability. Should he touch a human, though, his alterations to their body are instantly fatal.
And since he's attacking your soul, those physical wounds are gonna be impossible to heal.
Even if his alteration isn't directly fatal, the human body won't last more than a few moments in a transfigured state.
All that with one touch! God, I thought herpes was bad.
His powers mean Mahito treats humans as effectively disposable dolls that he can gleefully experiment on. The more casualties, the better, especially if he gets to break your spirit first and watch you suffer.
Even more twisted is when he
Yeah.
combines two transfigured
Oh shit,
humans
someone joined.
together for soul
Just a
multiplicity,
warning, you are being
essentially a
recorded and
giant
it's gonna go
torrent
up on
of
my
body
YouTube.
horror flesh that he repels
Oh,
wait,
with his
really?
opponent.
Should I leave?
Yeah.
It's up to
Mahito
you.
is unbelievably creative.
It's also
with
Well,
live
I do want
combination
to
of idol
with
transfiguration
the
and
others,
despite
not just by
being a
myself,
newborn
anyways.
curse,
What?
consistently keeps experienced
I just want to watch
sorcerers
it
on
with
the back
Death
foot.
Me
It helps
Death
that
with
he's a
others
quick
instead of
study who's
myself.
picked up a
Fair
number
enough.
of different curse techniques.
This is
like the
Bakugan
Black
Veteran.
Flash.
I don't know if he
By
has
applying cursed
any
energy
YouTube
within
channels
1
or not.
microsecond of an impact with an enemy, space itself will distort.
But that's
Wait, did they already cover
amplifying its
Shigaraki?
force by a
Yeah.
factor of 2.5.
Oh man.
Not only does this hurt like a mother, it restores your curse technique and gets you fully in the zone.
I'll
And
just
with
say
required
he has
reflexes nearly 1,000
his
times
decay
the
can
speed
destroy
of sound.
vestiges, I
It's
think,
no surprise
and
then that
he has
Mahito
all
also
for
unlocked
one.
The pinnacle of sorcerer techniques, the domain
This dodged lasers and
expansion.
survived a blast that
Oh,
could be
shit.
see against
More
the
hands. A domain
curvature.
is like a barrier of cursed energy, but if you're caught inside, Mahito can use idol transfiguration instantly without even needing to touch you.
It's called the self-embodiment of perfection, the ultimate expression of Mahito's absolute control over his victim's body and
Who do you think will
soul.
win?
The only
Shigaraki.
time it ever failed was against the student sorcerer and Mahito's
I still
arch
think
enemy,
it's Mahito.
Yuji Itadori.
Because not only was Yuji a barf-inducing goody little two-shoes who believed in the inalienable rights of all living things, blah, 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 he also had a curse inside of him,
The king of curses, Sukuna.
which meant Mahito's ability affected both souls in Yuji's body. Sukuna didn't like that. No surprise, and kicked Mahito's ass, forcing Patchface to fight with a handicap whenever facing his pink-haired menace.
Yuji's belief in the value of human life flew directly in the face of the world that Mahito knew to be cruel and meaningless. So he made it his mission to crush Yuji's spirit before killing him, murdering his friends, defiling their corpses, and brutally battering him before going in for the kill.
And he's got the strength to do it. Mahito's one of the most powerful curses in the world, and his growth is exponential.
Fellow disaster curse Jogo was able to summon a massive meteor capable of reducing the city of Shibuya to ash.
That'd take an energy of over 800 kilotons of TNT.
And Mahito can
Dang.
take as good as he can get.
Shigaraki's was
especially
bigger.
when, in the throes of struggle against Yuji, he evolved, unlocking a vastly more powerful form, the instant body of distorted killing.
Complete with armored exoskeleton and arm blades, this was a taste of the almighty curse Mahito was growing
Super Saiyan
into.
off form.
A true blight on all mankind.
It wouldn't last. In a bitter battle of resolve, Yuji won out. In a dog-eat-dog world, there was now a bigger wolf.
So he tucked tail and ran away like a bitch. And what do you know? Life suddenly became a whole lot more meaningful the second it looked like it was about to end.
All that gleeful nihilism, just a bitter hypocrisy in the end.
For him, maybe, but Mahito found a convert in his archenemy. After a battle that wiped out thousands of innocent people, Yuji's youthful spirit was gone. The only thing left that mattered was exorcising this curse.
In a way, that was Mahito's final victory, the destruction of another human being's soul. He may not have been around to see it, but the curse Mahito inflicted on the world would bring it to its knees.
Yeah,
Hey, you see
Shigaraki's
that
winning.
join button?
Huh?
Yeah, that one.
Oh.
That's your ticket to being a death battle champion. As a champion, you get all
Is that the
sorts of
actual
exclusive
time for this
death battle
video?
content, like extra
24
videos,
minutes?
live chats, and send
I don't know.
matchup ideas.
It might
And
be,
the support helps us
'cause this is
make
a live
even
stream, I
more
can't
death
see that.
battle. So thank you for being a
But yeah,
champion.
Shigaraki's winning. His stuff sound more impressive. His
All
feats
right,
were more
the combatants
impressive.
are
His
set,
abilities
and we've run the data through all
are about on
possibilities.
par, honestly.
It's time for a
Yeah, but
death
if you think about it, this is basically on who will
battle.
get the first attack or something. I still think it's Mahito, no matter what.
Shigaraki dodged. Shigaraki blocked lasers. Oh!
Oh! And it's starting off with already people's heads exploding.
I'd heard of a powerful villain stalking
Wait, he can
these
see
parts.
Mahito?
My
Yeah.
organization is going to tear this putrid world down around us. We could use a freak of your talents.
Little old me. Do I want to be king of the social rejects? How about I bring him your head instead?
Fine by me. Let's call this your audition, Sickum.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I heard that Shigaraki is a League of Legends fan.
Oh, that's true.
And of course, he already brought the no moves for this.
Yeah.
Game over.
Yeah, he won't go down that easily.
Did you actually just say that? God, how
That's
lame.
disgusting. Wait, they were punching him when they were jumping him.
I
Does
think that was a
mean he
reference to
would-
when Mahito got jumped.
Oh.
Decay.
Is this his domain expansion?
No.
Nope.
What a rush.
Wait, he's already summoning his form already?
To be fair, Shigaraki's in his too.
I always viewed him having a hand fetish, but this is ridiculous.
That all you got? Domain expansion.
Yep, I knew this was coming.
Alright, let's see this.
Okay, this is just too many hands. I feel like Yoshikage here is gonna have a field day with this.
Boy whose daddy is mean and wants to make it everyone else's problem. Grow up.
Wait, what?
Here we go.
All for one?
Yeah, he's in his body.
Wait, how is he able to free his domain?
Same way Sukuna did.
I felt your soul too. You only hate humanity because you were born that way. Totally random. I hate them for a reason. You grow up.
Oh!
I told you.
Huh. Won't Mahito come back after that? Or,
No, that-
I guess not.
That destroyed his soul.
With their complex power sets,
But
this
how is that
match was
possible?
a puzzle to figure out.
Decay
Which
can
is
destroy
why we're breaking
vestiges.
down to three
Vestiges are
categories:
embodiment of the soul.
survivability,
Decay can
and
destroy
their
souls.
powers.
But first, let's address one
Oh.
thing. Could Shigaraki even see Mahito?
Okay.
He's an invisible curse after all.
Cursed energy and quirks are notably different, and Shigaraki wouldn't be able to see curses normally. However, even regular humans can spontaneously develop the ability to see curses in life and death scenarios. And with the Surge quirk, Shigaraki would have had no problem tracking it.
So seeing Mahito wouldn't have been an issue. With that out of the way, we can jump into their stats.
This was no contest. Despite the disaster curses being able to destroy entire cities with their cursed energy, Shigaraki scaling to Deku and Bakugo meant he was calculably millions of times stronger.
He was faster too, considering he could react to light beams, while Mahito's Black Flash capped out at nearly
If you think
1,000
about it,
times
the world of
speed
JJK is
sound.
basically
Nothing to
ants
scoff at,
compared
but
to
Shiggy
My
was
Hero.
thousands of times
Yeah,
faster.
everyone
Well,
agreed on
except for-
that.
Takes stats.
Well, except for Sukuna and
Survivability
Gojo.
was a little trickier to figure out.
Yep, in terms of raw durability, Shigaraki was a lot tougher, and his ability to generate new flesh meant
Now that I
that
think
he
about
could
it, can
heal any
Shigaraki win
wounds he
against
might
Sukuna?
receive super easy.
However, Mahito is
If
a
he can
curse
touch him.
and is immune to the kind of overwhelming physical damage Shigaraki could dish out. Not only that, Mahito's regenerative ability via idle transfiguration meant that he'd come back from anything short of spiritual damage.
Considering Mahito's unique curse body, he should actually get the edge in survivability.
Which presents a crucial question. Could Shigaraki even kill a curse like Mahito in the first place?
Or would Mahito's unkillability give him the time he needed to eventually put Shiggy down with idle transfiguration?
It all comes down to their powers. curse.
Shigaraki had a lot more variety with all of the crazy quirks All For One had collected over all the years, but none that we know of could properly kill a curse. That didn't mean Idol Transfiguration was a surefire bet either, though.
Of all things, Shigaraki's vestiges served as a spiritual shield from the effects of Idol Transfiguration. The fact that Mahito could not avoid targeting Sukuna while attacking Yuji meant that he couldn't target specific souls inside a person.
And Shiggy has hundreds of soul-like entities inside of him. Sure, each one down means he loses a quirk, but that's more than enough time to land a single hit with Decay, especially considering how much faster Shiggy is.
And Mahito has no way to defend against Shigaraki's primary quirk. Decay has affected spiritual beings in the past. Again, vestiges. In fact, he was able to damage Deku's vestige and have that damage transferred to the Deku in the real world.
Mahito may be made of spirit energy, but he still has a physical form. In fact, sorcerers that couldn't naturally target the soul were able to fight him on even footing. No reason to think Shiggy wouldn't decay him like everyone else.
Giving Shigaraki the third and
There we
final
go.
edge. It was a unique duel to the death, but Shigaraki's
Oh, wow.
unstoppable powers and deadly decay spelled the end for the disaster curse.
Nothing else to say. You really gotta hand it to Shigaraki.
The winner
Oh,
is
God.
Tomura Shigaraki.
All right, next
Yeah, let me guess.
time.
Is-
On Death Battle.
Let's see what it is. What is this?
Oh, really?
No. They're bringing this matchup back?
Subscribe and join
Well, it
us
won the
over to
poll,
see
but I
more
didn't think it'd
Death
be that
Battles. Thanks for
soon.
watching.
Wow. Any closing thoughts before I stop the recording? But I'm gonna still be streaming, so.
I'm not gonna lie, this was actually a pretty cool matchup. I was actually wrong. I did say that Mahito would win, but I was actually proven wrong.
Yeah. I knew he would. I knew he was gonna lose.